But if you have the time, come through Northumberland in the national park and you'll not be disappointed. So hi there. So I was due to be going to Arctic Russia this summer, but obviously due to the COVID-19 crisis, I've not been able to go. Much like many people, plans have been cancelled. So I thought, as I wasn't able to get any footage, which I was hoping to up in Arctic Russia, I thought what better way to share some riding with the channel would be to document some of the amazing roads that I've got on my doorstep in Northumberland. So this is the first of a few different videos that I'm going to be doing to share some of the great roads up here, so anyone who's travelling either to Northumberland or through Northumberland can experience some of the great roads that I get to experience all the time. So I'm actually just near the start of the A696, which later on will turn into the A68. This is absolutely one of my favourite roads. I've been lucky to ride it quite a few times. It's really one of the kind of trunk roads which goes between Newcastle and Scotland, but it's an absolute delight to ride and I really want to share it with you. Some amazing sort of sweeping bends, some fantastic scenery that it's got, some good overtaking spaces as well. It's got the odd speed camera, I'm not going to lie, as you can see from the sign up there, but also we get to experience the beautiful Northumberland National Park, which I think is a little bit underrated and underknown. So I'd highly recommend this road for anyone, like I said, who's travelling through Northumberland, or if you're heading up to Scotland and you don't want the monotony of either the M6 on the west coast or going up the very boring A1 on the east coast, turning off just after Newcastle and taking this road up to Scotland, you won't be disappointed. So anyway, I'm going to get doing some riding now and I'm going to try and share the best bits of the road, so enjoy and let me know what you think of it in the comments below. But for anyone who's driving this for the first time, just be patient because there will be a straight that will open up and you'll be able to pass on. So the main bit of the road is about 40 miles from Ponteland up to the Scottish border. The road, the A68 that it turns into, carries on over through into the Scottish borders into Jedburgh. So it's a nice little route, you know, especially if you live in the northeast, you just want to ride out, or if you're passing through. And what I really like about it is actually it's pretty quiet compared to the other routes that you could take. I know a lot of bikers get the ferry from the continent, from Amsterdam, coming into Newcastle, and they head up the A1 because that's the kind of quickest way that their sat-nav takes them. And the first thing I'd say is this road probably doesn't take you much longer, especially with the lack of traffic. And secondly, the scenery that you get and the actual flow of the road is amazing. So I can't guarantee that you might not stop to want to take pictures further up once we get into the Cheviot Hills, but it's certainly a much better ride than going up the clogged up A1, which is full of lorries and caravans and just general traffic. Now the one thing you do need to look out for, which I've nearly fallen foul to a few times, is the livestock which lives in and around the road. Whilst there is a lot of fences, I've come across sheep in the middle of the road before, especially early in the morning. So if you are traveling on the road, just be careful because there is plenty of wildlife around. So one of the downsides to this road is that, especially when you get up here onto the kind of moors and further up when you get into the Cheviots, the wind does know how to pick up, and also the temperature knows how to go down. I've had several times where you'll be in high teens or even 20 plus degrees in Newcastle down near the coast, and then you'll get up onto here and it can be well below 10 degrees. So I always make sure I pack different layers when I come up on this road, even though it's only a short ride, because the weather can really turn. And in the winter, you know, it's not uncommon to see plenty of snow up here on the hills, where there'll be none of that down. Now this is what I'm talking about. Hopefully you can see some of the views of the Cheviots in the background there, the Cheviot Hills. And then we've got some really lovely bends coming up, albeit I've got a white van stuck in front of me, which is typical. So I just want to say thanks to everyone on Twitter who replied to my my poll that I put out about what kind of videos you want to see put on the channel, in lieu of me not being in Arctic Russia. So really appreciate everyone interacting there and getting involved. This is definitely what I love about the road, just these kind of long sweeping bends that you can do, and also how in general you can see quite far down the road, so if it is a bit busier you can plan that overtake. And that's a big lorry. So some of you may remember a few years ago I met up with Bruce Smart, aka Teapot One, well-renowned moto vlogger, world traveller, and I actually met him up at the top of this road at the border between England and Scotland, and we rode back down south towards Rothbury. So this is actually the other way on the part of that road that we rode together. I'll put a link in the description if you want to watch that video. Cracking series that Bruce did when he did a tour of the UK. I think it was in 5 days. We've got the bumps in the road that you can really start to accelerate through, and we start to get some little twisty bits. What a cool little bit of road this is. Really just snaking through. Absolutely awesome. And then up over the top of the hill. Fantastic, fantastic. This is where the A69 joins the A68, which is another fantastic road. Again, just some really fun little pockets of bends here on the road, bumps that go through it as well. And just in case anyone wondered, that's the last cafe before we get to Scotland on this road. And bikers are welcome. Oh, lovely. So this is one of the pieces of the road that I really like. Reminds me of a lot of riding in Scandinavia, Norway. Big forest, smooth road. So just to the west of us here is the top end of Kielder Forest. And there's actually a really cool road called the Kielder Forest Drive, which is a kind of dirt track. It's a toll road, so you pay a few pounds to go along it. Really cool off-road experience. I really want to do a video of the Forest Drive, which you'll see here's the sign of the Forest Drive here. I really want to do a video of it, but unfortunately, like many things, due to COVID-19, it's currently closed, so that's going to have to wait for another time. Just such a picturesque road to travel along. I think, you know, in terms of UK biking, Scotland, Wales, the Lake District, and then probably the Yorkshire Dales, for me, in terms of mixing scenery with great roads, probably in that order as well, actually, for me. But I think Northumberland, just due to the size, you know, Northumberland's not massive by any means, but there's some absolutely cracking roads and cracking scenery up here. But if you have the time, come through Northumberland in the national park and you'll not be disappointed. Case in point, you'll not be disappointed with the views and the roads. I know a few years ago some friends of mine from Norway came over to do a tour of Scotland and came through on the ferry, and I recommended coming up these roads, and needless to say they were chuffed with the local advice and insight. But this is what I like. The hills, the sweeping bends on the road, starting to get a bit busier now, the traffic. So we're just now starting to climb up a bit higher to get over the Cheviot Hills, and we'll soon be crossing into Scotland. So I've been quite lucky today. There's a bit of blue sky, it's a little bit overcast, 15 degrees there in the air, so it's not too cold, but too often, especially when you are climbing here into the Cheviot, quite often it's very wet up here. I think when I met up with Teapot up here, it was pretty soggy, but we soon got out of it. And it might not be the Trollstigen, it might not be an Alpine Pass, but it's a beautiful ride in our country here. And I'm glad it's only 50 miles from my house. And here we are, Scotland.